What's up everyone, welcome to another episode. Today I want to share with you which are my top 3 bike choices these days, and at the end of this video I'll also let you know which quite exciting bike build project will be coming up. But yeah, maybe before you keep watching, maybe let me know in the comments what is or has been your most favorite bike that you're currently riding or that you have ever ridden. So over the past years I've been building and riding lots of different bikes. Some I really liked, some I somehow didn't click with, and some that I really fell in love with and that I find myself taking out on rides most frequently. So I would say let's kick things off with the rim brake machine, my Dacordi X Klein Concept, which is an old Dacordi Profidea from the year around 2000, a frame that I found on our local eBay here in Berlin, and I decided to restore it to make it, I would say, the best rim brake bike that I could imagine. So in regards to this project, reading some of the comments on previous videos around this bike, it seems like it is quite a polarizing one, I would say, as on one hand you have this super robust, beautiful steel frame, and then on the other hand I decided to pair it with a bunch of, I would say, somehow fragile carbon components. But in the end, I really love it. I have to say, it has been one of the most exciting bike-related projects for me to just see how far can I push a bike that has a steel frame in its center while still keeping it rideable. And I think that at 6.5 kilograms for this setup, it is really a joy to ride. So especially with this Jura Ace 9100 mechanical group set, I mean, I love this group set. This group set is so snappy. It has such a short lever travel for shifting that it is, very close, and it almost feels like an electronic group set. So yeah, anyways, this is one of my favorite bikes, and honestly, I don't see any other bikes in the near future getting even close to this bike, at least on an emotional level, because this bike really has a lot of blood, sweat and tears in it. And now, just real quick before we get into the next bike, something that I always keep forgetting: if this is a topic that is kind of interest for you, maybe consider hitting that like button, because it helps me out to understand better what kind of topics are interesting for you, so I can focus on the more interesting things. I think I said interesting now the third time in future videos. So yeah, that was it. Just to only ask, hit that like button if this is something that's interesting to you. So my next favorite bike is gonna be this Windspace Agile. I actually like it so much that after initially building this bike up with the L2 ERX electronic group set, I recently completely rebuilt this bike with a brand new 12-speed Ultegra DR2 group set, just to reduce the weight a little bit, and then also to slightly improve that little bit of top level shifting performance. And even though I love my classic bikes with their classic tube shapes being these beautiful, almost indestructible machines, there is a noticeable difference when it comes to effort and speed when comparing it to an aero bike or an aero optimized frame like this beautiful Windspace Agile. So even at my rather low power levels, you definitely feel a difference. And even though I thought that I'm done with carbon in general, this bike really pushed my buttons again, I have to say. I mean, aside from the performance aspect, I also really love the overall look of this all-white frame and how nicely it blends together with all of the components. And on top of all of that, there is also a little bit of an emotional factor here, as even before I started this whole channel and when I was just getting started with cycling in general, Windspace was one of those brands that I've seen other YouTubers showing off and talking about. But at that time, as I was just getting started, I felt that this is a little bit too much money to drop on a hobby that I might not even keep going for the years to come. So which is why I start like on an even lower price range bikes like the Velo builds and so on in the very beginning. So yeah, Windspace really remained on my mind as a frame brand that I really wanted to try out at some point. And I have to say, I'm very happy that that bike that I was testing, that Agile, definitely didn't disappoint. And the next bike on my favorite list, maybe you already can guess it, it is the Bossy Strada SS titanium bike. So this for me is as close as it gets, I have to say, to a perfect bike. So first of all, it is made out of titanium, obviously, which means that you don't need to worry about rust, chipping paint, or being very delicate when it comes to impacts or when it's falling off or another bike falling or leaning against it. But second of all, this one I went almost all out when it comes to the components. So it is set up with a beautiful new 12-speed Jura Ace Di2, a nice Avian Canary lightweight handlebar, Berg saddle, and recently just added that Elili carbon crankset to really squeeze the last grams out of this build. So now this setup, when it is paired with the sub 1 kilogram brisk wheels, I was able to bring this bike down to 6.89 kilograms, which I think is great for a metal frame disc brake bike these days. And with all those 3D printed and forged parts, it is really quite a nice bike to look at, I gotta say. And this motivates me even more than ever to get out on the bike, independent of what the weather is outside. And there's obviously no need to ride a bike like this at my level, because I'm not even racing or doing any competitions. I don't think I'm any significantly faster than on some other bike, which actually also doesn't really matter for me that much. But somehow the look and the whole setup, as I said, pushes me to get out and ride it more often, and every time I ride it, it definitely puts a big smile on my face. And I even like this bike so much that I recently took it out in the woods on a small gravel ride just to see if it can handle it, and it worked out fantastic. I actually paired it together with some 32mm Pathfinder Pros. I was able to explore the Berlin woods a little bit here and enjoy this little getaway ride away from cars, which it is quite nice, especially now that the days are becoming darker and grayer and wetter, and winter is just around the corner. And that already brings me to what will be coming up next on this channel. So now that winter is coming, and I still plan to ride outside even in the cold and wet weather, I thought that maybe a Jura Ace bike is not the right one for this season. So I spoke with my friends over at Bossy, and I can luckily confirm that I will be building up a new gravel bike based on their new titanium grid frame. So this one, of course, comes with all the benefits of the Strada and in general being a titanium bike, but additionally it is able to fit tires up to 50mm, and I think I'm going to be making use out of that. So I'm already eyeballing some tires that are 50 or 47mm, to be able to be a little bit faster and a little bit more confident when exploring gravel further and riding through those Berlin woods. And one addition in comparison to the Strada SS is that, of course, even though it can handle some fully internal routing, it also allows to have some routing being external. So in case you are the person that wants to have easier access for better maintenance, that grid frame is supposed to be able to provide that. So I'm very interested in how this is going to work setup wise, to be able to combine both kind of setups. I think I'm going to be going all internal just to keep everything clean, but let's see. So I'm really excited for this one, and there's maybe one thing I would like to hear your recommendation on, and it is what kind of group set to put on this gravel bike. So should I build this up with an Ultegra Di2, or should I rather go with a mechanical GRX 1x group set? Particularly, I'm talking about these two because currently I see that there are quite good deals on those two group sets. So and I thought that I will be riding rather mild gravel and forest roads here in Berlin, that the Ultegra setup might be fine for that. But I'm also a little bit intrigued, to be honest, to build up another bike with a fully mechanical group set again, because as I told you, I really enjoy the performance of the Jura Ace mechanical and the shifting performance and just the ride feel in general. So I thought that maybe it would also be nice to have a mechanical disc brake bike. So let me know in the comments what you would choose and maybe why you would be recommending any particular group set. So this is going to be it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, consider hitting that like button, and if you're interested in that gravel build that will be coming up, also consider subscribing so you don't miss out on that video. And with that, as always, I say thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!